Hi, Jane and Kelly. This is Dave from OptimalResume.com. It was nice meeting you all at the NACE conference down in Orlando yesterday. My brother and I drove back to North Carolina last night, so it was a long day for us, but I hope you guys had a safe trip home. I wanted to give you that video to kind of refresh your memory about ResumeGPS. Remember, this is a free add-on service to your current Optimal Resume service. Once you give us the green light to turn it on, we can do it very quickly. From the student perspective, which is what you're seeing now, really GPS is about just the student has the decision if they don't have a job to opt into the program. They're reminded to do that, and simply by checking a box for one of the resumes in their account, they can opt in one resume. By checking that box, they make the resume searchable by employers. Students can also make their contact information private if they don't want to be reveal their name, address. It's personal information to employers. Can do that here. They can also add some other information. Most of this is defaulted in from their account automatically, but if they want to tag their resume, they can do that. Helps employers locate it, etc. So opting in is very straightforward from the student side, and when they do that, what's nice is, as I showed you, once you opt into this program, students can they become a passive candidate, and then they can basically receive contact from interested employers. And I'll show you in a second, how employers can actually locate students from one of two places, as we discussed. The default or one place an employer can search is from our corporate hub, where we have 235 colleges listed. If they were searching, let's say, for schools in Illinois, Bradley might be a school that would come up on the hub, or even better, if you all have that experience portal like the University of Tampa did, putting this software, a branded version of GPS in there for the employer is going to be nice. But anyhow, as I mentioned, from the student's perspective, after they opt in, they're waiting to receive contact. Just to remind you, students can be invited to basically respond to online interview questions. This is the same account I used at NACE, but you can see employers create these questions and students can respond. If students don't have a webcam, they can do, remember here, a written response or just an audio, verbal response to the employer if they have a microphone. The other option here, which is probably even more powerful, is the live video conferencing option. So the student is again going to do this right in their Optimal Resume account, right at the level of the document that they opted into the program. So the date and the time of the video conference, the employer kind of puts it out there, hey, are you available at X and such date and time? If the student is, they accept, and then the event is scheduled. So there isn't a lot of rigmarole involved with the Career Center getting involved in the scheduling of these things. It's done directly between the student and employer. And again, what's unique about the video conferencing, it does take a second to load because we encrypt it, but you'll see here in a second that actually I have the movie I'm making, as you can see, uses my webcam, so I'm going to pause the movie for a second so I can show you again. In this box is where I'll appear after I take my webcam off this movie. One second. And now that I've disabled my webcam, you'll see when I hit allow, we'll be able to see me here in the video conferencing window. Obviously, your webcam can be used for two purposes at once. And so this is a browser-based video conferencing system. There's no time limit. And what this really does is enable employers to chat, to have a conversation with the candidate from a distance, and certainly this can provide useful information for the employer. As opposed to Skype, there is complete tracking of these video conferences on the admin system. You can go in as a career counselor, look at the organizations that have signed up inside your portal or who have clicked on your students. You can see what activity they've had with students when they video conference, etc. So there's the tracking piece, and I think what's nice about this is from a logistical standpoint from the employer, really straightforward. And so also students can obviously receive messages right here. They can filter on sent messages, for example, and then they see statistics on which employers have clicked on them. So this is all at the level of the document that they've opted in, and to us, this really maximizes the power of the tool. So I'm going to turn my camera back on. One more second. Sorry about the pauses. And so now what I'm going to do is shift over to the employer side, and this is the employer logged in on our corporate hub. You can see in essence what this is a unique offering for employers. We would love to have NACE's endorsement on this because we think this is a very unique set of functionality for employers where they can come and search at all these different college students and have video interviews with them. And remember, one of the big foundations of this program is it's a 50-50 split of the revenue. So this is a program that can generate income for career centers. And again, we don't think all employers will use this, but some certainly will. And given the current economic conditions out there, it's I think the more options, the better, frankly. So, again, all of these filters open up. Employers can select the schools that they're interested in, and then basically the database is going to dynamically update here. If I filter on Brigham Young, I only see Brigham Young students. I can filter by keyword, candidate, location, etc., 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 and I can reset my filters here. To kind of show you from the perspective of if I wanted to go find this, I showed you first from the student side how this all worked. If I go and show you from the employer side, let's say I filter on Optimal University at the hub. I happen to know that this is the resume that I opted in. You can see I made my contact info private so the employer can't see it. But here under this account, this is where the employer can really get, not only look at the resumes, they can create resume books, they can rate candidates, but I think it's just so helpful to give them the option to basically receive video responses to some of these questions here. You'll see this is from the employer perspective. I can get an email when I have new candidate responses. This versus telephone screening, I think is a nice option to have. The other option is, of course, the video conferencing option here. And I showed you from the student side, it's the same exact thing here. I'm going to cancel this real quick to show you the scheduling of video conferencing is very straightforward. Employers basically pick the date, the time zone, hit submit. That will send an email to the student. If they can join, they come right to the account. So it's a very unique combination of resume searching and video interviewing. Also, there's the ability to, under this My Candidates area, as you're going through the database, employers can create folders, manage their candidates in various, and these are all test folders I've created. But the idea is that employers can kind of, if they're hiring for different jobs, also manage. There's a candidate management piece, which if you just have a static resume book, you can't do. The final option, so this is kind of our corporate hub, and the other option, which I'm going to flip to, is this idea. If you notice how the banner is changed, this is the idea that we talked about of a university branded portal. And if I close this here for a second, remember what Tim had done, Tim Harding down at the University of Tampa. The idea is for a university branded version of this. The employer logs in on your portal, and that enables you to kind of validate or control employer access. The employer comes to your branded site, all of the same functionality, but only your students. And so employers can still kind of filter on, they can't filter on other schools from your portal. Obviously, it's only going to be the students from that school, but we think it's a really nice option for them to have. Again, there is, notice here I haven't logged in as the employer. I can't see anybody's name. I can't see any contact info. The idea is that employers can, however, see the documents, and in this case, because I'm logged in as an internal administrator, we can see the name here. That's because of some multiple logins I have, but for the typical employer, until they make a payment, they're not going to even be able to see this information. I'm logged in as an internal administrator here, so that's a detail, but just know that employers do get to assess the quality of the database before they actually make any payments. Then half of that revenue is going to go to the Career Center. We think we have some very reasonable pricing options here. The ability to have 50 video conferences for $195 is a really good deal compared to what other costs you're going to have to interview one person. Also, the resume book option would start at $25 if you want to kind of stick with telephone screening. A nice way to do that. So we hope that this program can also generate an income stream for career centers. That kind of highlights, I think, most of the functionality on GPS. If there's any other information you need from me, let me know. It's very easy for us to turn this on. And again, if you want to I'm not sure if it was Kelly or Jane that mentioned, participation on the NACE board, but again, we would like to have the conversation about how to get NACE's endorsement from our hub, because we think this is an excellent offering for college recruiters in the United States, and it's a very unique functional platform. So just something to think about. We're always open to conversations like that. So appreciate the time. Please let me know if there's anything else I can do, and it was a pleasure meeting you both. Thanks very much. Bye.